This week's Magi of Labyrinth chapter basically was a Hakuryuu chapter. So basically it didn't even feature Aladdin, Alibaba. Well, actually it did feature everybody else in the gang, but it was more of his flashback, his thoughts on everything else going on. Like, how Judal actually has a very different, approach to everything. Like, he changed into, he's always smiling and saying, yes, master, listening to his master, obviously. So that was Judal's little character change. I think Judal did get some powers. Obviously, he did, learn to get more powers, learn to control his powers, as we saw in the last chapter. Obviously, he got this whole new type of power, probably from Altaman, that teach him all these new powers and way to get it. But then this was a Hakuryuu chapter where obviously Hakuryuu, always trying to overtake the Ko Empire, trying to achieve his dreams of splitting the Ko Empire and trying to get rid of Gouken or Arba, or Arba, who's actually Gouken Ren, resurrected in a way, and also Ko-En, who's actually the current, believe the first, who's actually going to be the king or the emperor. He's basically one in line to be emperor. So Gouken is currently the one being, obviously the empress, the emperor. Basically, she was the reason that, her, basically, Haku's face was all burnt out by his two brothers were basically dead, because he really cared about his two brothers. And it talks about also about how the Ko Empire was formed and how they were previously, how the lives were, how all peaceful until Gouken Ren came along and basically corrupted everything. And our part of Altaman, obviously she did she basically made the Ko Empire into basically a less visible Altaman way, since obviously Sinbad did say that Altaman is Ko Empire, and that actually is true, because the head, the more leader of Altaman, Arba, Gouken Ren is there in the Emperor line. She has her own Magi, whatever. She's a Magi herself. Obviously, what she's going to, what's her next goal is going to be, obviously, since Hakuryuu wants to take down Gouken Ren and Ko-En, so he could be the next emperor and be able to change the world, be able to change, everything in the Ko Empire, be able to make his own country more peaceful, because obviously his life was more he had no rank, the emperor. He was the emperor's son. His emperor's son didn't love him as much. Obviously, the Gouken Ren really didn't care for his son. Obviously, she should have killed her son if she had the opportunity to. This show that she's corrupted. Just showing us that Altaman does not care about anybody. Just wants power or poverty, because Altaman is basically the people who are causing all of this poverty, all of this death, just around the world. Is trying to cause darkness and despair for everybody else. I want to know what Joel going to do after Joel said, I can grant you one wish, and he said the power to take out Gouken Ren and Ko-Ren, I believe. So he wants to take both of them down, take the emperor. I want to know who's going to do. Is he going to succeed, or is Aladdin, Alibaba, Morjan going to stop him in time? What's going to happen? This epic clash is going to be amazing, Chapter 263. I honestly cannot wait for that chapter. It's going to be so good. I'm so blessed. I'm so glad that Magi comes out every week, or every week and 3 or 2 days. I'm so glad it come out monthly, so I get to find out what's going on. And I believe one of the Daijin's arts was very, I'm not going to say the art style is horrible, but one of the Daijin's art style was very, very, very rough drawn, very not even drawn properly. But other than that, I think the chapter overall is a Hakuryuu chapter. This chapter is dedicated to Hakuryuu and everything else, how he felt about everything else, also how he met Sinbad and Sindri, how he met the 70 Alliances, how he wanted to get the power of the Daijin, how he got Zagan, how he got able to get his arm, what he had to do to get on there. So this is a little backstory on him, but also is more of his future goals, what he's going to do. This is basically this is Hakuryuu's agenda. He just set up his agenda, I'm going to kill these two, I'm going to become the next emperor of Ko Empire, I'm going to make sure this country is peaceful and everything else. But Judal's obviously there, so what's going to happen? The Black Magi, what's going to happen with him? What is he going to change his mind? Is Arba actually, if she would purposely let Hakuryuu kill her, and then what would he do, since he have a major change after that conference of actually killing the emperor? Everyone's gonna be on his side and everything else. He's he's a fourth prince, and he actually had the previous emperor's right hand and left hand man on his side. So what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen with Judal as well? I don't know what he's gonna do after. Obviously, what happens after Magi chooses their king? Obviously, is the Magi gonna move on? Is gonna stay with the king? Obviously, supply the power, because obviously he has metal vessels. And I just want to know. I think Ugo predicted this would happen. I don't know. I feel like Ugo somehow predicted this would happen. Or the whole there's gonna be a Magi, who's black, and not Magi's black, but actually a king who has a black heart. I feel like Hakuryuu, even though he has good intentions, his heart is probably going to change as his goal progresses, because when step 1 is done, he goes step 2, but something could happen along step 1 that'll cause step 2 to go differently than expected, if you know what I mean. But overall, this Hakuryuu chapter, I'm so glad, we at least got some little bit of backstory on Hakuryuu, because I thought, we got him after, basically he was missing for an arc. We didn't really hear about him for an arc until the end of the Summit or Almatoran arc, so I'm so glad we got my boy Hakuryuu back. His agenda is fierce. Is he gonna succeed? Because I thought he already killed Gouken Ren when he had a chance, but apparently he wants to kill her. I don't know what's gonna happen. She's gonna allow herself to die on purpose, just so his heart could become black, or with Black Hook. Since obviously Judal also has the power of basically a Daijin, able to obviously, or the Meta Vessels himself, able to teleport from place to place, but he isn't as strong as one of the people who has the power of teleportation. So is Judal's power going to improve on as he progresses, because he knows how to master his power, and obviously his king's candidate is going to become a king slowly, but through the means of violence and darkness. So well, let me know what you guys thought of this Manga Labyrinth of Magic chapter 263. Be sure to like the video, drop a like, it does help a lot. Subscribe for more of these reviews on manga, because I'm in love with this manga right now, it's one of my favorites, definitely, for sure. And follow me on Twitter, obviously I do have a Twitter if you do so inclined for more tweets. Facebook, I will use Facebook for long posts. Instagram for personal posts, when I get posters, when the room gets filled, obviously you get to see the progress in the room, obviously. And I'll see you guys later. Farewell.